Nigeria show. We too good for drugs. I beg you make una stop am. Drug free Nigeria show. Nigeria show. We too good for drugs. I beg you make una stop am. Let's take our youth from all forms of drug abuse. Oh, we are the leaders of today and tomorrow. We are brighter star with brighter future. You have to understand the good is good and the bad can kill. The event show tells you the truth, so to get free, listen to the event show on Lagoon Radio, the best online radio. Let's take our youth from drugs. 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 Let's take our youth from drugs.
The event show with Sonny
on your number one non-stop gospel radio, the DFN show with Sonny Irabo. On your number one non-stop gospel radio, the Lagoon Radio. You know we are broadcasting live from the Diocesan Palace in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. Today is a special day and I want you to grab your phone if you've not downloaded the Lagoon Radio from the Google Play Store, Apple Store. Please kindly do that right now so that you can listen to us live on the show. This show is special one and it is tagged VAL exclusive and with yours truly. And we are having a very special guest in the building. Although we'll be talking to him, I just want you to stay tuned and listen to the conversation of which you can be part of it. You can listen to us on www.LagoonRadio.Ng. Better still, you can follow us across all the social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lagoon Radio.Ng respectively. Once again, I want to welcome you. It is Valentine. So from DFN show, we are saying happy Valentine to every one of you out there. Make sure you celebrate love, not just lust. You know, don't celebrate lust rather than love. And you know what we need now, right now as a nation, it is love. And once again, you're welcome to the show. When I'm back from this musical break, I'm going to go straight to introduce our guest. Our guest is already waiting. Our guest will be introduced to you shortly after this musical break. Don't go anywhere, only on the FN show.
Jesus, my don't butterflies in my belly, open a summer. See the way you love me, see the way you care for me. You carry my matter for your head, like a little baby. You watch over me, oh. You know they carry me, they play, oh. Obina sabo, ire me obina sabo. Obina sabo, ire me obina sabo. Jesus, ire me obina sabo. Obina sabo.
Enjoying the cool music of Mercy Chinwo, calling that Obina Psalm. You know, God is awesome. We need to thank God in every situation that we find ourselves in. And today is special Valentine exclusive with yours truly. And we are having our guests already waiting to speak to us on subject. And you know, today as hot, everywhere is hot with red, including myself. I'm on red by my producer. You are not on red. What happened? Oh, don't worry, don't worry. She say I'm red at heart. That is what is necessary. So welcome my guest with me. You know, this is a very, how will I put it now? Somebody who has worked very tirelessly to ensure that Nigeria is drug free, and he has been doing fantastically well. I want you to just sit tight as I introduce my guest to you. He is the founder and executive director, Global Initiative on Substance Abuse, the national president, International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, Nigeria chapter. Who am I talking about? Dr. Martins Agwege. Good evening, sir. Welcome to DFN Show. How are you, sir?
Good evening, Sonny. Thank you very much. Good evening, listeners, and happy Valentine to all.
Yeah, thank you. Good to hear your voice again. I know you traveled to the US the other time. I hope you brought us goodies, sir.
Yes, there are so much to bring from the US, so we're expecting yours.
Oh, that is good. Lovely of you. Now, once again, we want to welcome you to the show. On DFN Show is basically a first of its kind show designed to primarily sensitize the populace on the dangers of drug abuse, particularly young people who are vulnerable to this canker woman. And I think the likes of you have been in the forefront in fighting against this menace. Cannot just stay without talking to young people, because these are the population that should build Nigeria to become the 21st century country that every one of us has been watching out for. So once again, we are delighted to have you on this show. Sir, the first shot I want to give to you, the issue of drug abuse in Nigeria. What has been the experience as far as drug abuse is concerned?
Well, thank you once again, Sonny, for asking that question. The issue of drug and substance use in Nigeria has reached an alarming stage that it should be a responsibility for all. Everyone needs to be involved in addressing this issue. I'm always quick to say that Nigeria is in the crisis of drug and substance use. And how do I mean? The high rate of substance use, especially the high level of ingenuity, should be of concern. Ingenuity, talking about creativity, the mixture of unimaginable substances and the consequences. So we all need to be involved in addressing the drug issue. So I would say that the youth in particular should be conscious of the fact that they may want to experience some initial feeling of euphoria and so on, but the long-term consequences of drug and substance use is definitely unimaginable. And I don't think that is a route that anyone will want to take, even though there are risk factors to it, but it is also important that one look beyond the immediate pleasure that one may derive from it, as youth ordinarily may want to feel high and so on. Thank you, Sonny.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful submission. Today is a special one, and today we want to also look at the fact that Valentine is celebrated all over the world. And you know, in this part of the world, there is a way that young people celebrate Valentine. And the topic for this show, we are looking at the drugs, youth, and Valentine. Now, there was a story last year. I was called from Warri precisely. A young man took a lady into a hotel for almost a week. What were they doing? The guy was soaking himself, because of Valentine, was soaking himself with all form of substances, and they were having carnal knowledge. And at the end of that exercise, do you know what happened? The guy died. And I was called from Warri that this is what is happening to this guy, and I advised that they should take that matter to the nearest police station. And as I speak with you, that is what really happened. That was at last year. Now, in this present day, young people, what they say that this is Valentine, they engage themselves with all manner of substances. They want to do the undo. Now, what will you be, or what will you say to young people who may be thinking that Valentine is all about using drugs, is all about exercising carnal knowledge on the female folks and all that? What will it be a particular message to young people as far as Valentine is concerned?
My direct message is that we should celebrate Valentine without indulging in the use of psychoactive substances. The experience just relayed, or the what happened, that you were caught, is an example of what could happen as a consequence of substance use in the name of celebrating Valentine. The young ones, both the male and female, should have a good understanding that whoever wants to indulge in carnal knowledge for one reason or the other should, do that without involving psychoactive substances. What that simply means is that involving psychoactive substance means that they are taking that relationship to another level. And in some cases, it is more or less having carnal knowledge, especially using the female, where they don't have, where they have not given consent, and some men who want to lure them into having carnal knowledge with them through the use of psychoactive substances, so as to sedate them and become unconscious. So that is the more reason why you, especially the female, should be at alert, should be vigilant, and be sure that this does not happen. That is not to say that it's only the female that can be lured to these activities through the use of psychoactive substances, but it is more common where males want to at all costs, have carnal knowledge with ladies. So ladies in particular should be conscious. And whether during Valentine or outside Valentine period, the matured men and women who are into relationship, ordinarily couples, I would say, when it comes to carnal knowledge, that is fine. But when one is not legally married, and for one reason or the other, they want to have carnal knowledge of themselves, it shouldn't at all be with psychoactive substances, because that on its own has its own consequences and it is not sustainable.
Thank you for that wonderful contribution from a very high-profile personality like you. I want to shock you. Recently, I ran across ladies, and what I saw these ladies doing, it marvels me. And I begin to feel, if ladies, women who supposed to be custodian of morals, people supposed to be in the home front, shaping our family, to become, especially our children, to become better citizens, are going into drug abuse, it means the society is doomed. And you will agree with me that if ladies, and according to statistics, United Nations saw that for every 4 ladies, 1 is a drug abuser. Now, recently, I ran across ladies. They were doing a kind of, I can't even imagine. They were mixing all form of substances, to just get high. And many of them, they might not know the consequences of those actions. Now, from your own experience as a field person, somebody who has been relating, with the public, what are those drugs that the female counterparts are going into? Why am I asking this question now? A lot of people feel that the women, there are some drugs that you can just take for them to slim down without knowing that it will even have consequences on their health. So, sir, from your own experience, what are some of the drugs that the female counterparts are taking?
Yes, thank you very much, Sonny, for asking that question. Just like you rightly quoted the UNODC National Drug Use Survey conducted in Nigeria, 25% of those who use psychoactive substances in Nigeria are women. And we also know the consequences or the implication of that, considering the role of women in child upbringing, among other important responsibilities. Having said that, when it comes to the substances that these women are using, and that was what in the first place I referred to as high level of ingenuity, a high level of creativity, mixture of concussions of different kinds and so on. Sorry, Sonny, I have to differ in this area when it comes to mentioning some of these substances because we are on air. From experience and from professional point of view, it's been established that mentioning some of these substances on air or through the media may not be that appropriate. Appropriate in the sense that many of listeners you never can tell how much that could influence them to the extent of becoming curious. Where some of these substances are mentioned on air, how they are used, what they are used for, and things like that, it is difficult to know who ordinarily is suffering from a particular condition that may want to try it out. I'm speaking from the point of evidence-based point of view as far as prevention is concerned. But generally, there are over 1,000 different psychoactive substances. So what that simply means is that these psychoactive substances, you cannot exhaust in naming them or in mentioning their names. In terms of classification, we have the stimulants, we have the depressants, we have the narcotics, and we have the hallucinogens. So briefly, just to give an insight into what the implications of all of this. The depressant, for example, reduces the activity of the central nervous system, while the stimulant increases the activity of the central nervous system. Due to this mixture, what we have noticed is that both, not being specific to ladies now, a mixture of both stimulants and depressants are consumed. In some cases, with what we refer to as the hallucinogens. And the hallucinogens causes, just like the name implies, it makes people to hallucinate. So when hallucinogens, stimulants, and depressants are consumed, so you can imagine the health implications. And some of these substances are used, especially by the female gender now, at times for them to enhance their sex drive without minding or having a good understanding of the long-term consequences. So this is much I can say as far as the different substances are concerned, because it should not be in the best interest of prevention to mention the names of these substances on air.
You're absolutely right, and also share your point of view, because that is what we also do. But in general terms, sometimes we let people know that there are different chemical being mixed right now. But while we're on air, we don't tell them the various how it is being mixed, how they use those stuff. But a lot of people are curious that, hey, sometimes this our ladies that, or this my boy that is looking very handsome is quiet. One was just relating to me that this my boy that is looking like a pastor. I say nowadays this quietness does not result that this your son will be a pastor, but sometimes they will take these drugs, and once the thing begin to expire from their system, they look calm. So that is why sometimes in the course of the advocacy, we let parents know that once this behaviorism is taking place, you should understand that something is going on with their words. Rightly put from your own end that as a professional, we cannot actually tell them how these drugs are being used. I share your point of view. Quickly, I also want to ask you. Hello, sir, are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, I want to ask you, from your own experience, what has been the most terrifying situation that you have seen from young people engaging in drug abuse?
Well, what I would say is the most terrifying experience is part of what I have just said, the outcome of this complex mixture. For instance, we have depressants, we have stimulants, we have hallucinogens. So when one consumes a combination of this, the outcome is what is usually difficult to diagnose, because here you are as a professional trying to address the issue of a person with substance use disorders. And the expression is not that the person is being hyperactive to possibly look at the aspect of having consumed stimulants, or the other way around, sedative or sleeping, for one to feel that what the person has consumed is a depressant. So at the end, you see what looks like a clear case of confusion, except where you now use some kind of biological markers, do some drug tests and so on. So I think I will also relate this to some of the clips, actually shared on social media, where you see people jumping, just what one will say, no one will do, no one in his right frame of mind will ordinarily do. Jumping, hitting her on the wall, and things like that. This is one of the examples of some of these missions. And that experience I've seen, having to address substance use with the client, and such experience was indeed terrifying. And relating it to the issue of how the young ones look and so on, there are so many risk factors to substance use. And that is why we all need to be involved, even from the parents' perspective, the home, because there are young ones, that are impulsive. Some have anxiety disorders, some are suffering from depression and other mental conditions. So their health need to be properly addressed. And regrettably, the young ones don't seem to have professionals and even people that they can confide in, they can share their challenges with, and people with the right understanding to know that these young ones are going through some difficult situations, that these things need to be addressed. Otherwise, it will put them at risk of substance use. So everyone needs to be vigilant, because the way what you see, is not exactly what it is. We need to, see beyond what we are seeing on the surface in terms of how individuals look, because people are going through difficult and challenging situations.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the voice of Dr. Martin Agwege, the founder and executive director of Global Initiative on Substance Use and the national president in the International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals Nigeria chapter. While we'll be going on a musical break, sir, I want to ask you this question before we go on that musical break. Is the government presently, are they doing enough? Are you satisfied with the level of fighting drug abuse in Nigeria presently?
Thank you very much, Tony, for asking that. Like I said, addressing the issue of substance use and abuse is a responsibility for all. Having said that, because why I am saying that, government cannot be everywhere. Government cannot be everywhere, and they need our support. Specifically to your question, I would tell you without missing word that the government, the present leadership of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is doing very well, because even though most of what we see is more of the enforcement aspect of drug control, but there are things we also need to look at, and that is the issue of availability, accessibility, and affordability. That's where we talk about the 3 A's in drug control. If drugs are easily accessible, they are available everywhere, and they are affordable, it becomes a risk factor. But the present leadership of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, without holding brief for the NDLEA, is sending a very strong message that substance use should not be a norm, and even trafficking should not be a norm, because it was gradually becoming a norm. I think that is a clear message that every citizen of Nigeria can key into towards addressing the issue of substance use in Nigeria. Thank you, Sonny.
Well, that is Dr. Martins Agwege speaking to us on DFN Show on your number one non-stop gospel radio, broadcasting live from the Diocesan Palace in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. When I'm back from this musical break, I will continue with my guests on DFN Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly.
This is Lagoon Radio.
Have seen, my ears have heard of your mighty deeds and powerful show of love towards me. Good shepherd, good lover, I join the angels to shout out your praise. Idima, Idima, Holy Sabinigwe. There is a melody in my heart unto you. Overflowing joy, overflowing praise. Daddy, all that you do is marvelous.
This is Lagoon Radio.
Time is not our friend on DFN Show. We could love the music, we could love enjoying this music, but time is not our friend and time is not our staff as far as DFN Show is concerned. Welcome back from that musical show. Before we went on that break, we were talking with our guest, is Dr. If you're just joining the show, is Dr. Martin Agwege. He is the founder and executive director, Global Initiative on Substance Use, and the national president, International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, Nigeria chapter. Welcome to the show once again, sir.
Thank you very much, Sonny.
Yes, sir. Now, I want to ask you this question. Something is trending on the social media right now. It's all over the news of one of the most respected policeman who is recently linked with drug trafficking. I'm talking about Abba Kyari. So I want to ask you your own personal view about this matter, because some of us, these are some of the public figures that we respected when they were performing, but after they shake them and they begin to find out a lot of things about them, we begin to see that some of us, we are beginning to look at this individual from a different perspective. From your own personal opinion, sir, what is your take on this Abba Kyari matter?
Well, just like I said before we went on the short break, I think this is a message, to everyone. This is just buttressing the point I made earlier, that there is no hiding place, not just the recent case, just across. And if you also follow the trend, of activities of the NDLEA since the past 1 year, you will see that at least NDLEA is beginning to gain momentum, gain support, and everyone is becoming clearer. It's becoming clearer to everyone that at least there's no hiding place for people with criminal tendencies, and it just goes to stress my earlier position. So I think that is the much I want to say on this.
It's okay by me, sir. Now, when I want to also tell the public that you can drop your comments across our social media platforms. You can also visit www.Lagoonradio.Ng for you to listen to us live, and drop your messages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lagoonradio.Ng. Better still, you can also send me a private message at d.selectmaster on Instagram, and also follow me on Facebook, Sonny Irabo, so that you can also be part of this conversation. Nigeria is ours, and we must do our best in order for we to shape Nigeria. Sir, why time is not our friend, let me also fire these shots at you by asking this question. What has been the major challenges for people like you who have been in the forefront fighting against this dreaded enemy called drug abuse?
Thank you very much for asking that question. I think you are asking it at the very right time. Well, there are just too many challenges, I would say. It's difficult to actually start from somewhere, but part of the challenges is that there is a wrong perception about people who use drugs. And that wrong perception has made it difficult to address issue of substance use from scientific point of view. More so that there are very limited human capital to address the issue of substance use, both prevention and treatment. That on its own is a major challenge. And the fact that the law addressing drug use in Nigeria still criminalize drug use. Even though in practice it is different, I can say that with all sense of responsibility. The law, for example, establishing the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, criminalize the use of any psychoactive substance, which means whether the person is just using or trafficking, of course, that person should be taken to the court and prosecuted. But I know since the past 10 years or thereabouts, NDLEA practice is that persons who use drugs are treated as somebody who need, or as people who need help, and are no longer prosecuted. But that aspect of the law needs to be amended so as to avoid a contrast, because the present National Drug Control Master Plan, its provision there is that drug use issue should be treated as a mental health issue. But the law that established NDLEA Decree 1989 and now Act of the National Assembly, has not been amended to reflect the present drug control policy document. So that needs to be addressed so as to help in involving evidence-based drug use prevention and treatment interventions. And because people are looking for where to seek help, especially those who are already involved in substance use. But because of a limited understanding and knowledge of how complex drug issues are, parents at times press the panic button. And in the course of pressing the panic button, they make it look like until when somebody is handcuffed and leg chained, that is when, issue of substance use can be properly addressed. I can also understand the frustration because it could be very challenging. That is why measures should be put in place for early detection. Of course, in the first place, prevention. We don't want people to use at all. But if for one reason or the other they have started using, intervention should be there early enough before it degenerates to complex situations that the parents and family members will start looking for where to seek help. At that time, it becomes somehow late. So there are so many challenges surrounding drug control issues, but one of which is some of which I have just mentioned. And the fact that the NDLEA, I know too, has not been well funded over the years. The personnel in NDLEA, I know them very well. I don't intend to say this, but at the same time, I worked with the NDLEA for more than 23 years, so I know the challenges of NDLEA. The personnel there are the best of personnel you can find anywhere in an organization in Nigeria. Even you can even compare them with personnel in this field outside the country. But the fact that they are not well remunerated, they are not well motivated, that affected their performance. So all of this, when properly addressed, including the fact that everyone needs to take it as a responsibility, to address drug use issue in Nigeria, it will be a challenge. The family, the work setting, the community, and schools need to take ownership of substance use prevention.
Let me use a stone to kill two birds. Now, when we talk, are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, I said let me use a stone to kill two birds. First, I'm going to ask you, is there a program that is ongoing at your end that you want people to participate, or you want support from corporate organizations, individual and other? That is one. And secondly, in terms of sensitization, are we doing enough, realizing that sensitization and education is the cheapest way to go as far as tackling the issue of drug abuse is concerned? What is your take?
Thank you very much, Sonny. So let me just answer it the way you asked it, is not to kill two birds. The truth about it is that what we have been doing in Nigeria, as much as I know, has been more of sensitization and not prevention. And there are differences between sensitization and prevention. When you do prevention, you are more or less drawing people's attention to the need on the need for people to be involved to address substance use issues. The question is, what is their level of involvement? What exactly are they doing? And that brings me to the point of prevention. And when we talk of prevention, it's a different thing entirely, where we have to address the risk factors that are promoting substance use. And since 2019, that is basically what I have been doing. My NGO, Global Initiative on Substance Abuse, GISA, we have trained over 1,000 drug demand reduction practitioners in this area to address substance use from the prevention point of view. So, of course, we would have loved to train up to 5,000 or more. But again, we cannot be everywhere at the same time. I would like to go to different parts of the country to deliver this training across different settings, across family, because we have 5-day training for substance use prevention in the family, the same for workplace, the same for the school setting, and the same for community. I just ended a training on Friday, on community-based prevention of substance use. So all of these are initiatives that should address the issue of substances. But unfortunately and regrettably, our emphasis have been on sensitization, creating awareness. That is not to say that they don't have a place in addressing substance use issues, but we need to move away from there. Because if you don't have a good understanding of the causative factors, the risk factors, and addressing those risk factors, we are just sweeping under the carpet. I want to tell you that that is part of the challenge, and that people don't seem to have a good understanding of the fact that we need to go beyond wearing t-shirts, face cap, going around, and at the end, the people who wear the face cap and t-shirt, they could even wear it and be using drugs, So we need to move a little further than what we have been doing. Doing that will help us to address substance use in this country.
We need to move away from those conventional. This is coming from Dr. Martin. Thank you so much for being part of this show, ladies and gentlemen. You can be part of this show by dropping your comments across the social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lagoonradio.Ng. Better still, you can visit www.Lagoonradio.Ng so that you can be part of this show and listen to us live. On this note, why we'll be calling it a day, let me catch up with time to thank my daddy, my father, our Archbishop, missioner, the Ecclesiastical Province of Lagos, the Most Reverend Dr. Humphrey Olumakaiye. Thank you, my father, for the opportunity always that you have given to people like us to stand on this global platform to sensitize, educate, and to also bring to people the issue that has to do with drug abuse and how we can collectively salvage Nigeria. On DFN Show, once again, we are saying thank you to you and to all our listeners across the globe. We are saying thank you for being part of the show. For you to be part of the show, you can advertise your goods and services. All you need to do is to hurry down to the Church House Marina, Lagos, Nigeria. Just ask of the producer DFN Show so that we can advertise your goods and services. On this note, I want to thank the Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Lushola Sanwo-Olu, for the opportunity, for the partnership that you've given to Select Initiatives, for which to drive the Lagos of our dream. We want to say thank you. I'm also extending this appreciation to the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mr. Shegun Daudu. Thank you so much, sir, for the support. Together, I know we are going to develop the Lagos of our dream. On that note, when I'm back from this musical break, I'm going to sign out from DFN Show. Don't go nowhere. When I'm back from this musical break, I will have a final word from my guests. Don't go nowhere. Time to check time on DFN Show. While we are enjoying this music, time is running. And ladies and gentlemen, my guest has been Dr. Martins Agwege. You know, as I've told you, has been giving us solid information on DFN Show. So while we went on that break, you know, I said I'm going to come back to you so that you can give us a final word on DFN Show. What is your advice to young people as they celebrate Valentine?
Thank you very much, Sonny. What I would say to everyone before the young one is that our focus should be on prevention. Our focus should be on prevention, and the different settings should be involved. Talking about the family setting, the workplace setting, the community setting, the school setting, and the faith-based setting. The faith-based setting plays a significant role in our society. So these settings need to be involved. But what is important in their involvement is that they should be involved from the knowledge point of view, through capacity, so as to be able to have a good understanding of their expected role in delivering prevention interventions. So the young ones, as you celebrate St. Valentine today, I want to encourage you, enjoy yourself, but try. Of course, the situation, the environment there might be tempting and so on. Please do not add drugs to the celebration and avoid anything that one will regret or will not be in the best interest of one, because there are so many years to celebrate Valentine. So don't celebrate today's own and forgetting that at least one should be in this or her right frame of mind to celebrate Valentine next year. So on this note, I want to say thank you once again, Sonny, for having me. Like you said from the beginning, love and not lost. Incidentally, I'm wearing white. I also have a red hat. Thank you very much for having me.
You know, our people say if an elderly man mouth is bent, his works are not bent. We have been enjoying a very solid conversation from our own leader. I forgot to let the public know that you are an U.S. exchange alumni. You know, we've been together and I've seen the great work that you've been doing. So, a very wonderful conversation we've had with our guests on the DFN show. Once again, sir, we want to thank you for finding time to talk to young people, to talk to the general public on the issue of drug abuse. We will still come back to you to have you live on the studio. Please, when I extend my invitation to you, I want you to give me a promise on the DFN show that you will come, sir.
Thank you. It will be my pleasure.
All right, it will be my pleasure. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to thank you all for enjoying the DFN show with us today. All you need to do is to stay out of drugs, because drugs, there is a cost on the family, the society, and even to friends. You might not live to even see the end. So don't go there. Don't go there. Stay out of drugs, because you know what? You are too good for drugs. I want to thank my producer, Simi. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I want to thank every crew member for giving us this support. We will see you by God's grace next week on DFN show. Thank you and remain blessed and stay out of drugs. Thank you. See you next week on DFN show. Bye-bye.
It's DFN show with Sonny Irapo on Lagoon Online Best Radio.
Drug-free Nigeria show. Nigeria show. We too good for drugs. I beg you make una stop am. Drug-free Nigeria show. Nigeria show. We too good for drugs. I beg you make una stop am. Let's take our use from all forms of drug abuse. Oh. We are the leaders of today and tomorrow. We are brighter star with brighter future. You have to understand the good is good and the bad can kill. The show tells you the truth, so to get free, listen to the DFN show on Lagoon Radio, the best online radio. Let's take our youth from drugs. 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 Let's take our youth from drugs.
DFN show with Sonny Irapo on
This is
Lagoon Radio.